In today's video, we will be discussing the Baltimore Ravens. Does this team have the right leadership to get them over the hump?
If the offensive coordinator is going to be in charge of the offense, defensive coordinator is going to be in charge of the defense, what is your role going to be?
The head coach.
And that's pretty much all I am really here to discuss today. Coming up next. So with the fallout and aftermath of the Baltimore Ravens losing the AFC Championship game to the Kansas City Chiefs 17-10, there begs the question of, do the Ravens have the right leadership to get this team over the hump? Now, for a lot of us, we are questioning, is John Harbaugh the right man to lead this team going forward? I know there are a lot of Harbaugh apologists out there and guys that think he is a top 5 Hall of Fame type head coach. But to me, the consistent failures in the playoffs lead me to believe his tenure is done. I don't watch a lot of television. I don't watch a lot of the networks just to listen to them bash Lamar incessantly. But I did over the last couple of days listen to hear what the narrative was going to be that was spun about how the Ravens lost. And of course, it has all been put on the shoulders of Lamar Jackson. It just boggles my mind that John Harbaugh coaches with impunity. He is absolved of any fault that the Ravens had for their playoff debacles. I listened to the Ravens publications just to listen, just to hear them say, man, we should have run the ball more. What was the game plan going in? But they seem to skirt over that. They love to talk about the turnovers, the lack of production, but no one questions why we tend to lose our identity once the playoffs run around. And you would think as a Hall of Fame head coach, you would learn from past coaching mistakes. This is something that John Harbaugh has yet to do. And you may say, Hendo, you crazy. He's learned from his mistakes. He's grown. He's adapted to the modern NFL. Not when you wish to be the most dominant run team in the league and you consistently depend on running the ball as your bread and butter, yet until you reach the playoffs and then you want to switch your identity. You want to do a 180 and become something that you are not. Now, if you don't believe me, listen to this press conference.
16 rushing attempts is definitely not what you guys normally do.
It was kind of that kind of a game, I'd say. You know, that's the way it worked out. The game, kind of the way the game went.
And yet still, this may sound a little bit all too familiar. There's plenty online to let you know he's done this and said this before. Go back to 2019 after the playoff loss, and this is what we get.
Disappointed that we didn't play the kind of football we needed to play to win the game. That'll stick with us for a long time, but we'll move forward from here.
How much did the Mark Ingram injury affect him, and how much did it affect your run game?
It's hard to say, Bo. I mean, I just don't know. There's just no way to tell. It's impossible to determine that. I'd like to answer it, but what can I say? I don't know.
So 4 years later, same situation. Baltimore Ravens are the #1 seed, the top team in the NFL, the best team in the NFL, unquestionable. Went out and beat every team during the regular season, and I mean beat them down. 2019, 2023. Get to the playoffs and fall short. And it all centers around us not running the ball. For a team that wishes to be the most dominant team, we do not run the ball. We do not go out and get the best running back possible to lead this team in rushing. We depend on Lamar Jackson, win or lose, to pull out these games for us. So I need help. I need somebody to tell me what's going on. You wish to run. You wish to be the best at running. You go out here and find the cheapest running backs that you possibly can find and hope that it breeds a championship. And this is not the case. And for me, I just want this man to be held accountable for his actions, because if this were any other coach on any other team, he would have been gone by now. The owner would have said, listen, you've done a wonderful job. You've gotten us to a certain point, but there's just a hump that you cannot get over. And to all intents and purposes, John Harbaugh is the Doc Rivers of the NFL. He's won a championship, but he's blown the biggest leads. Every time the Ravens are favored to win in the playoffs, we don't. And the only time that we have was against a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback. Yes, we were supposed to beat the Houston Texans, and we did, but it took a half of football for us to realize what we were doing was not working. Until we decided to impose our will on this team and beat them down is when we won the game. This did not happen. The game against the Chiefs, 17. We were never out of this game. And I just now want people to hold John Harbaugh accountable. I don't understand why people outside of this organization can see what's going on, but the people inside don't. And I heard something on Twitter and it made me think, well, somebody gets it. Somebody sees what's going on. and it's Colin Cowherd. A lot of people don't like his takes. A lot of people don't like what he has to say, but he has been a Lamar supporter for some time. And he is one of the very few that came out and said, I was wrong. I thought Lamar was this, but he was not. He is a great player. And listening to this clip right here, it let me know he sees what's going on. He sees that the coaching staff has let this team down. So listen to this clip.
You know I love Lamar, but I can also acknowledge that was not good. But I do feel, I think we have to be fair here. That felt like coaching malpractice. They completely abandon their total identity. They run, they pound, they grind. This is what they do. #1 rushing team in the league by far. Until yesterday. Their running backs in Baltimore, I'm not making this up, had 6 total carries. They were never getting blown out. They didn't have to abandon it. The most they trailed by was 10. I mean, San Francisco was still giving the ball to McCaffrey, and they were at one point down 24-10. And here's the funny thing. The Ravens went 0-4 with 25 or fewer rush attempts this year. 14-1 when they ran the ball a lot. Apparently there was a power outage or something, or the fax machines don't work. That data was not available in Baltimore. Instead, you know what they became? They became the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen. What about the tight end you like? What about Gus Edwards? He'd been terrific. Instead, they asked Lamar to drop back 46 times. That's not Lamar at his best. You were just waiting for the Ravens to get on track and go back to being what they were. And they completely abandoned.
And of course, it's not all on John Harbaugh. But as the head man, as the leader of this team, when do you put your foot down? You hired Todd Monken, and you're telling me you don't know what's going on with your offensive coordinator? This is proving to me that the Ravens don't trust their running back, but you want to be a run-dominant team without a dominant runner. 8 times without running backs. 8 times. And this to me is where the egregiousness comes in. This to me is where you say, this is the same thing that happened in 2019. Let's try something a little bit different. But no, we throw the ball 37 times. That's not our game. As dynamic as Lamar Jackson is, this is not what we do as a team. So to me, do we really have an identity? And being identityless is a reflection of the head coach. Your play on the field is a reflection of leadership, and this is something I believe we do not have. So Steve Bisciotti, the ball is in your court, and it's time for a change, because we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. This is indeed the literal definition of insanity. And one last thing, listen, to compound things and make things a little bit worse, and this is not a good look, and I'm not saying that after a bad loss, players should be sulking, they should be depressed, they should just go home and hang their heads, but you have not even left the stadium. Not a day has gone by, and you are in the locker room celebrating. Marlon Humphrey, you as a leader of this team should know better. And this is why sometimes people question and say, this team is so unserious. This team is so unserious about winning. You're celebrating. You're in a locker room partying after a loss. Now, it's not the whole team, it's just certain people. But you as a leader in this locker room should know better. You as one of the higher paid players on the team should set a better example, in my opinion. At least how you carry yourself should be. All right. Appreciate y'all for hanging out. Make sure to like, subscribe, share the video, and on the notification so you know when I come up with a new video. If I come up with a new video, I mean, I'm really dejected right now because this is a very heartbreaking loss, and I understand. To me, teams lose. I get it. There's a point in time where you get a matchup, you just don't play up to your capabilities, that teams lose. I get that, and I'm fine with that. But when you lose not being who you are or who you have been throughout a season, then that doesn't sit well with me. And of course, there's always the, well, next year, we got to grind. We got to get back in the lab and just do more. Next year. It's always next year. Next year, the path to the Super Bowl may not be lined up as well as it had this season. All right, I'm done ranting. All right, till next time, y'all. It's your boy.